This next one, I bring your attention to the screen. Let's blast it, and here you go.
I'm sorry. You wanted to sweat. This is an awesome shot.
Should I come down or should I hang with you? I'm going to do my split right now.
So I'm feeling like using you. What? Oh, you're already itching to go? Streb people? Crazy.
Stay out super late tonight, picking apples, making pies. Put a little something in our lemonade and take it with us. Put it half away in a fake empire. We're half away.
But there might be something cool. I like how this thing is blocking the view. I'm just gonna have to deal with it because it's the only way you're gonna get that light on you. Oh!
Diamond slippers on. Do our gay ballet nights. Bluebirds on our shoulders. We're half away in a fake empire. We're half away in a fake empire.
I just say we just go for this. One more. Last one. This is gonna be funny. Somebody's gonna come right into a face full of penis. And this is gonna be right there in their face.
This night, try to figure out everything at once.
I can never get over this. So much fun. All right, here we go.
We're half away in a fake empire. We're half away in a fake empire.
I love being up late at night in the city. It all slows down a little bit and then you get to appreciate it. At some point the cell phone stops ringing and it's just like you just can, on a beautiful night, lots of beautiful men around. Perfect. Just what I want.
Turn the light out, say goodnight. No thinking for a little while. This night, try to figure out everything at once.
We are having a really serious adventure right now. Isn't this fun?
In a fake empire. We're half away in a fake empire.
We were laughing, I didn't see it. I'm losing it. I mean, there is definitely something to be said for that structure. I mean, what's sleep, really? I think I must be getting really like delirious because I was about to say, let me show you and do it. And I know damn well I can't do it. I was like, I got this. Let me show you. What am I thinking? That can be good right there. Now can you release? Okay, do it again, one more time. You wanted to be here. Turn your face towards the light. This is amazing.
My friends, The man who doesn't know what sleep is, I bring to the stage Mr. Jordan Matter. Oh, there's more.
Sorry, that one didn't work.
It's everywhere. There's all yours, man.
What do I do? I press this one to go next.
That one's the next.
Yeah, okay.
Go for it.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. The first thing I feel like I need to do is to give a shout out to the man who created that video. His name is Sandy Chase. He's right there. I really, I don't keep up with his social life enough to know if he's single, but it doesn't really matter. What happens in Legacy stays in Legacy, so buy him a drink after the show. Also, the reason why I wanted to show that video is the workaholism, alcohol, there's like a lot of isms that all have negative connotations. It's not negative. Workaholism is fun. If you find a passion that you love, that you can do every day, there is absolutely no downside to that. Be a functional workaholic. Occasionally see your family, but for the most part, just do the fucking thing, because it is awesome. I want to start by, I think, showing a gratuitous video of nudity. Only because Raina is here, and that's her. And she deserves a shout out because she's in Dancers After Dark, she's featured more than anyone else. And she's here with her mother, which is a little weird. And her brother, which is really creepy. And her boyfriend, so I chose a shot with a hot dude. So, you're welcome. Now, okay, workaholism. I love this theme. I am definitely one. I learned it from that guy, who is my grandfather, also looks like the Mad Men of photographers and graphic artists. And he was Swiss, so he didn't have a lot to say. His favorite word was like, "ja." But when I was a kid, I would spend countless hours with him in his darkroom. And I found it to be a magical place. And I would always think, one day I'm going to have a passion that I'm so committed to that time just flies. I don't know where it's going, but I didn't know what it would be. So for the first many years of my life, I was a baseball player. It's like I haven't aged. And that went through college. And I loved it. I was good at it. Was I passionate about it? No, I wasn't. It didn't keep me up at night. So then I went into another adrenaline-based career, and I became an actor. That's John Stamos. Quick funny story about John Stamos. When I was an actor many years ago, my friend and I, best friend, he and I wrote a script together. Now, to give him credit, he wrote the great majority of it. It was his idea, all that. However, he based a character directly on me. We would get together at night, we would drink, and I would improvise dialogue, which he would tape record. And finally, he was able to get financing for this independent film. And I was like, holy shit, man, when do we start? And he said, without any irony or humor, "You're not right for you." And he hired fucking John Stamos. You can see the resemblance. So, it's called Knots with a K. You can look it up. Never made it to the film, to the theaters. Sorry, don't air that part. He's still a friend. Anyway, okay. This is Acadian National Park in Maine. I was an actor. I thought I was inspired by it, but I really wasn't, because the measure is it didn't keep me up at night. And it didn't wake me up in the morning. But I was doing it because I liked the attention, and I was having enough success to enjoy it. But then I biked to the top of this mountain, Acadian National Park in Maine, and I looked out over this horizon. This is a photo I did not take. And I realized I have to take a photograph of this. It's a big deal to get to the top of Acadian National Park. As a matter of fact, there's bumper stickers if you fucking drove to the top of it. So if you bike to it, big deal. I'm going to take a picture. Took out my camera, realized I had absolutely no idea how to take that photo whatsoever. And as I was going down the mountain, I decided to take a photography course so I could learn how to take that photo.
Now, here's that moment, right? I don't know how many of you out there have something in you that you think you should do or want to do. But here's that moment where you either decide, I'm going to do it or I'm not going to do it. And if you decide I'm not going to do it, then your mind goes on. You might never, ever get back to that thing. Fortunately for me, I decided to do it. And the first photo I took, it was a black and white printing course, was this. And when I saw that print come up in the developer, I had a hallelujah moment. It like washed over me. And I realized, this is what I'm meant to do. And it was really the most inspiring, beautiful moment of my life. And up to that point, I have kids now, so let's not print that part either. And I got married since then. Anyway, it was awesome then. And I've been carrying a camera around ever since. Got a whole nother talk about the interim part. But let's just say it went well. And I built a career. And then many years later, I was watching my son play with this toy bus. And he had this level of passion for his fantasy life with this toy bus. I mean, I was thinking, really, how long can you do this? Because you're like, it's a bus. And, oh, fuck, I'm glad I did. This was, Michael only wanted me to go 5 minutes, and it would have been 5 minutes if I had been right here. I'll be back here. Yeah. By the way, this isn't going to be 5 minutes. Fuck him. Okay. So I saw his passion for his fantasy life, and I was just watching, and I realized, as we get older, we lose that, don't we? I mean, we lose the magic of the everyday moments in life, and we go from one thing to the next without appreciating the journey in between. And suddenly I had this idea, what if I used dancers and made everyday life as if seen through the eyes of children, that was beautiful and magical and passionate every moment. And I had this idea, but I'd never shot dance, but I had shot the headshots of a dancer weeks before, and I reached out to him. I said, can you get me some of your dancers? I had no idea about dance. Those of you who know, this was a dancer with the Paul Taylor Dance Company. Turns out to be one of the top 10 modern dance companies in the world, right? Yeah. Are you with Paul Taylor? Do I know you? Oh, okay, you know them. Yes, well, they're awesome. They were just not like working in that moment, and I was fortunate enough to actually get a few of them to start working on this idea, and I had this thought, dancers among us. No idea what I'm going to do now, but I met the first guy on the walkway, the Hudson River walkway, and I took this photo. So cool. That was such a great reaction. So cool. Yes, it is cool. He's amazing. But what got me was their athleticism. It triggered that whole athletic part of me and the baseball and all that. And I thought, there's something I can do with this, right? Now, there's a lot of people out here who have explored an idea. You've had something that you thought, this could be something special. And then you have your honeymoon period, right? Where it happens and you're like, this is awesome and I'm really good at it and this is incredible. And then inevitably, in every case, the next thing is it starts to suck. Right? And that's what happened to me with Dancers Among Us. It started to suck. I started to shoot dancers, and I'm just going to show you. I just found these. And this is like really humbling and humiliating, but I'm going to show you some efforts that were not so successful. And these are just photographs that were I was just starting out, and I didn't really know. Wait till you see the next. Like, that is awful. And this is a fucking train wreck, man. I mean, like, he's in black with black behind it. What's he doing? Why are you upside down on your cell phone? It made no sense at all. Is the drugs? Sure. There could be that. It could be drugs. But every one of these shoots took me all day. And I would go out, and I had a day job. I was shooting portraits all day, and I would go out, and I would decide on my own time, I'm going to take these photos. But I didn't know if anything would come of it. And the truth is I knew that it was sucking, and I would get home and I would feel so guilty about it because there was so much stuff happening at home that I was now missing to make the choice to go out there and shoot this instead. And I had so many doubts about whether or not I should continue on with this. I believed in the idea, but I was not executing it properly. And I just think that there's all of these potential stumbling blocks, one after the other, that we encounter on the road to success, and we have to just step over those stumbling blocks. That was really good, Sandy. Did you get that? Like, that was like almost like I wrote it. I didn't write it. All right. In any case, I wanted to stick with this thing, despite the fact that I felt like shit every time I came home and I got nothing. I felt like I wasted my time and wasted my life. So I just said to a friend of mine, look, man, I'm working on this thing. He looked at the pictures and he said, it's called Dancers Among Us, right? So where's the among us? Where are the people? This is not the way to shoot this. And he was just so right. So I just called up this guy, Jeffrey Smith, the original inspiration for it. And I said, meet me in the subway and bring a suit. And I'm going to bring one wide-angle lens, and that's it. And let's see what happens. And I got this. And that's when it made sense to me. All of a sudden, I said, I understand the story I'm trying to tell here. And then the next day, I saw this photo, which is a famous Richard Avedon photo, which actually had been inspired by this photo, which I don't know who took it, but it was years before that. And then I copied that and took this photo. That photo went viral, and I had a literary agent contact me, and I got all these meetings with publishers, and every publisher would see the book or see the pictures. That's all I had, a bunch of pictures, and they'd say, dance photos, New York City, it's never going to sell. And they all said no, even though the editors loved it, but the sales team said it's never going to sell. Dance photos in New York City, never going to sell. And it was dead, until one junior publisher at Workman Publishing loved the pictures, saw them online, put them in her cubicle just for daily inspiration and affirmation. And every time the creative director would walk by, she'd say, we really should meet this guy. And eventually they dragged me in to talk about a calendar. And I said, well, what about a book? And they said, dance photos in New York, it'll never sell. And I lied to them. And I said, I'm going to go around the country and shoot this. Total fucking lie. And they said, oh, that sounds like a good idea. So then finally I realized I have to go around the country and shoot this. I did. I spent a year and a half. They signed a contract with me. I created a book, and it ended up being a bestseller. Very exciting. It could have been a nothing. It could have disappeared. I'm so fortunate it didn't, and as a result, then I have had incredible amounts of opportunities ever since, including, I mean, the peak is right now. Like a full house at Legacy, man. I'm done. It's over for me now. It's all downhill. Thank you, Mike. Give me a kiss on the lips. Thank you very much. He deserves. By the way, just a little side note. Fuck. I'm sorry I have to share this, but like, it's workaholism, right? I mean, that's the topic that Michael created. It was his brainchild, workaholism. And so at midnight, a couple nights ago, I sent him a simple text asking him about the presentation, a certain thing about a video. He didn't answer me until the morning. Like, what kind of fucking role model are you, man? Workaholics don't stop at midnight. And I'll bet you were asleep at 10 p.m., wasn't he, Lauren? 9:30, 10, tucked in with his pajamas. I know it. 8 hours of sleep is a waste of time. Okay, sorry. That was just a diversion, and back to our regularly scheduled program. Dancers Among Us, it was awesome, it was great, it went well, and then ever since now it's been like, okay, so what's next? Now, from all publishers saying, it's never gonna happen, it's not gonna sell, bestseller, now what's your next book, what's your next book? And I came up on this Dancers After Dark project, which you just saw the video of, which is nudes in everyday, I mean like nudes around, I eventually became iconic locations around Europe and North America, but initially, wow. Was that Raina? Are you clapping for yourself? You are, aren't you? Okay. Now, I want to play this very quick. Oh, no. Oh, by the way, I went back to Katy National Park and took my own photo again. I just wanted to say, I did revisit that location years later. Here is a video. It just gives you 30 seconds of photos. But if I press this forward again, is it going to happen? I don't think this was a video. Except this says play. No? It is a video. Let's just say the photos are fucking great. But it's supposed to play, but it doesn't. Okay, whatever. You can watch it online. All right, so what happened was this. So I had this idea of sculptural nudes, and I was freaked out about doing like anything too public that I could get caught. But it's always these questions of like, what takes an idea from just a decent idea into something that can actually become something and inspire people. And you have to listen to what's around you. And that's what happened with me with the friend that said, you know, it's among us, get people in it. And then again, it happened here in this moment here. This is Lincoln Center. Now, up to this point, I was, as you saw in the video, shooting people in the shadows. I didn't want to get caught. It's all... So this guy, Dean, who's awesome, said he was going to distract me with a fucking clown nose, and he just did it. Okay, so it was all in the shadows. I didn't want to call. Everywhere I went was illegal, but it did become all of Europe and North America, the most iconic locations, but it had to start somewhere. So I spent a year shooting these hidden shots like you saw in that first video. And then I was dropping off 3 ballerinas by Lincoln Center. Raina is one of the 3. So once again, thank you, Raina. And this is what I call the turning point of Dancers After Dark. I was just dropping Raina off because she lived there. She's going to Juilliard. That was the extent of it. And I pulled up and I saw this iconic location here. I thought, oh my God, that would be the most unbelievable shot if we could do it right there. But no, I mean, this is too many people. It's 11 o'clock and all of the people are getting out from the theater. It's just not going to happen. It's too crazy. Forget it. And then as I'm driving away, I just thought out loud, I thought, you know, sometimes if you're scared of something, and one of the ballerinas said, yup. And I turned to them, I said, oh, you guys want to do this? And they said, yup. I said, okay. So I pulled back, and now I'm starting to think, what's the shot? So we crossed the street, we rehearsed it for 1 minute. You remember all this, Raina? So long ago. And then we got back in the car, and I'm pacing. There's like security guards right there. Everybody's starting to come out. Notice the writing on the floor, on the stairs. That's the most important part of Lincoln Center. That's what makes it iconic. Pacing back and forth, watching the security guards, and I finally say, you know what? This is just too crazy. I'm freaked out. I'm not going to do it. I turned to tell them in the car that we're going to leave and we're done. And when I see in the back of my Prius 3 naked ballerinas, I'm like, okay, I guess we're going. Okay, great. So then I'm watching, and as soon as 2 people start talking to the security guards, I open the door and I say, go! And they went running out, and they got in the position. The problem was I hadn't timed the writing, and there was no writing. So now they're standing there completely naked, but it doesn't make any sense at all. It's ugly. And I'm shooting. I'm like, oh, my God. So I'm not even looking through the camera. I'm looking over here. I'm like, where are the security guards? They're starting to walk towards us. I'm going to hold it, hold, click, 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 hold. Finally, writing. I take 5 pictures. Dun, dun, dun. I go, go! And they go running back into the car, slam the door. And as we're driving, peeling out, well, as much as a Prius can go, right? And then I look out in Lincoln Center, and one of the security guards goes, and you would think that would be the prologue to the story. However, the next evening, one of the dancers, the one in the middle, she came back to Lincoln Center in a bright red dress and heels to go see King and I, and she's adjusting her heel, and that same security guard comes up and hits on her. No idea who she is. And she gets to say the greatest line I've ever heard. She says, well, you've already seen me naked. And then she turns and walks away. That is the end of my presentation. Thank you. I actually, no, it's not. Hold on. I want to tell you 2 things. First of all, I have an exhibition running right now, so if you'd like to see it, it's at Brookfield. You'll happen to notice the date is till May 14th, but because of its awesomeness, they extended it indefinitely. At least a month. So go to Brookfield Place if you want to see these pictures blown up on aluminum very large. It's awesome and fun. Here is all of my social media stuff. I post every day, so please follow. And I want to just say one last thing. First of all, I want to thank Jen and Phil. I mean, you're an inspiration, Jen. You know that. I know everybody here. And thank you for that. And Phil, honestly, that was like the most vulnerably raw talk I've ever seen. And I just want to thank you for doing that. Because what we're seeing with Phil is that he, first of all, played down the amount of success he's had as an actor, but also he's in the crux of it, man. Like, he had success, and then now he's a bartender, and that's where we're at. It's never as smooth. We all get up here and we say it's smooth, it's easy, and then you reach the peak. But no, that's not the case. You bang, and then you bang, and you stick through that bang. And I just want to tell you, Phil, I appreciate you saying that. And then my very last thing, I know I went over. Just one last thing. The next gentleman that you're going to hear, Ed Blunt, very good friend of mine. We met when we were both actors. We did a show together in godforsaken Syracuse in the winter. And I just love this story. It's this. Talk about workaholism and passion, more passion. As an actor, he had a lot of successes on Broadway and all that. But he did one show called The Exonerated, and I don't know if any of you saw it, but it was a big, Exonerated was incredible about people who had been exonerated from the death penalty because they were innocent, and it was just their stories. He was hired, it was an off-Broadway hit, he was hired as an understudy for one of the, 8 or 9 roles of men in there, one of them. That was his job, understudy one, learn that role, that's it. So he did that. But because of his really, truly just passion for his art and his craft, he learned every single role. And then one day he got to the theater, and the lead actor in one of the roles was sick, and the understudy hadn't shown up. And it was a sold-out show, and they had to return all the tickets because they couldn't perform. And Ed said, I can do it. He said, why can you? That's not your role. He said, I can do it. I've learned all the roles. Just think about that. I've learned all the roles just on his own free time. And he did it, and they ended up playing the part. And in 1 minute, you're going to see why he is such an exceptional human being. So thank you very much for this. I appreciate your time.
You went beyond the chest bumps. Did you want to anything with it or later?
Why don't you do it again? I've
All right.
bought a couple books, and they can auction them off if you want to buy one.
Which,
The money will go.
which by the way, I meant to mention this before. Richie, where are you in the back? Richie's in the back. So we are collecting donations for She's the First. 100% of them goes to She's the First. And so Richie will have a bucket at the end. It's Richie with a Bucket. It's his new band. So you can do that. And I do have to say this. When I'm like really tired and I'm like, and Lauren's like, you need to go to bed. I'm like, Jordan Matter wouldn't be sleeping right now. I swear to God, he would not be sleeping. And he'd be really pissed off at me if he knew I was so tired right now. So actually, you should be. And I need you to hold it. You need to like text me at 1 a.m. Like, what? You should come on over. Come over. But I do have this one question. I just have this one question,
Okay.
and then I got to kick you off the stage. And that
took a long
is,
time.
so do you get, like, seriously, do you get tired? Those films were 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, and I know you're working those times. Do you get tired? Do you have a trick? Do you psych yourself out? Do you go, you know what, I love the work, I'm just going to keep working through the tired, or do you actually not get tired?
No, I'm exhausted. But that shouldn't stop you.
But you just push through.
The fact that the idea is that tomorrow I'm going to be exhausted, so today I'm not going to work makes no sense whatsoever. Deal with the exhaustion.
Deal with the exhaustion.
Yeah, just tough it out.
There it is, Jordan Matter, and he's serious. Follow him on
Thank you.
social media. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Good night.
All right, good night. I'm going to hold 2 microphones right now. As you came in, you all would have received